All right, are you happy for me to share screen? Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for having me this evening. I'm very excited to be presenting to you tonight on the FeralCcan resource. There's not many of us online, so if you have any burning questions, feel free to ask them during. Otherwise, if you'd like to keep them to the end, then I can stick around and we can do a bit of a Q&A in the second portion. So I will just share my screen with you all and begin the presentation. Once that pops up on the screen. So FeralCcan, it's a part of the FeralCcan resource, and this resource is used nationally by community groups, individual community members, and different organisations and agencies such as local land services, land care, etc. So FeralCcan sits within the FeralCcan resource, and as you might imagine, there's quite a few other pest animal species as well, including deer and feral pigs. They're just two other examples that fall underneath the FeralCcan resource. So my name's Emma Sawyers, and my supervisor is Peter West, so he coordinates the national program, FeralCcan program. We both work for New South Wales Department of Primary Industries, and FeralCcan's funded by Centre for Invasive Species Solutions, and we also get some funding from other groups such as Local Land Services and Australian Wool Innovation. So what is FeralCcan? It's a free tool for community members to help you reduce fox impacts. So as I mentioned, it's used by individuals and groups right across New South Wales and right across Australia. It's free and it enables people to report what they're seeing or what they're doing on the ground, and help you actively monitor and map pest animal, or in this case, fox activity. And the purpose is to not only help people document and record information, but you can come back and review what you've popped into the system and onto the map, and use that information to help you communicate what's happening in your local area, and help you plan with you and your neighbours, help you plan pest animal monitoring and control. So why do people use FeralCcan? As you may already know, foxes do have a huge detrimental impact on our native wildlife, and also on our domestic animals as well. So they can kill and maul animals, they can disturb turtle nests, they can spread weeds. That's just a few examples. And FeralCcan's a tool that can help to reduce the damage that foxes are causing in your local area. So it can be used to help you decide locations of where to best trap, and it can be used to help communicate issues with your neighbours. So for example, here's evidence of a fox coming into my property in the evenings. Perhaps you'd like to think about bringing in your pet food too. That's just some examples of how people might like to use the resource. And I suppose as much as I can give you some examples and tell you how the resource works, you might come up with your own ways of using the resource. And we certainly have groups come back to us quite often and say, oh, hey, we'd really love to be able to do this in the system, or to extract this kind of information, or communicate in this way. So we're really open to hearing your feedback and how you'd best like to see FeralCcan used in the future, and try to help you as a community group where best we can. I just wanted to cover some basic things that you or people in your local area could be doing to help mitigate foxes. And you may already know these, but they're good points to just raise again, to have to think about, and to communicate with your neighbours and other community members. So just making sure that you're bringing pet food in the evenings. Closing your compost bin. So foxes are scavengers, and they love having a look in your compost bin and seeing what goodies you've put in there the night before. Just making sure that your domestic animals are kept insecure at night. Removing fallen fruit from around trees on your property. Keeping garbage bin lids closed and blocking entry points to drains. Closing off access underneath buildings so foxes can use this as harbour. Using fox-proof enclosures for your poultry. I know personally that as a child we had very tall fences for our poultry on our farm, and they still managed to climb and get over the top. So having a bit of a research around what type of enclosures to best suit your needs is important. Turning off outside lights that attract insects, can bring in foxes for a little snack. And reducing weeds that provide food and shelter, such as blackberries. Of course, recording sightings into FeralCcan is equally as important as these points, because it keeps all the information in one spot and helps you to plan and implement future fox control actions. In addition to what you can be doing locally and on your own property, I just wanted to raise a few points about fox management at a broader scale, and perhaps David will be also talking about some of these points from a national parks perspective. And I know that you have, talking to Ralph and Basil previously, that you're wanting to record more information in your local area so that that information can be used in future, and that's great to have that view of what possibilities can happen down the track once you've got that information in one location. So having those dots on the map can help you and other groups plan more landscape scale fox management. So it's far more effective to be going in and doing a coordinated landscape scale approach of managing foxes or other pest species than what it is to be coming in all guns blazing with just one fox report, for example. So having that information in there, making sure that your fox management is consistent and well informed. And this is what what FeralCcan provides you is a way to be well informed and to plan those landscape scale programs in the future.
Emma, what is the red dot? What does the red dot signify?
Oh, yes. Okay, so depending on the different species, the legend will mean different things. In this case, I believe it's the number of foxes that are seen. I will have to check exactly what those numbers are, but I will give you a little website demonstration in a few minutes, and we can have a look at the different colours for those dots. So yeah, the yellow dots will be sightings. The grey dots with the D in it is damage. I'm pretty sure that the other colours people have seen, maybe 2 or 3 foxes at the one time. It might be a mother and some cubs, for example. So FeralCcan is available on your mobile devices and on a laptop or desktop computer. You can download FeralCcan via Apple or Android, depending on what device you own. It's really easy and free to use. So I'm pretty sure I could get my mum using it, and she's tech phobia. Types of records that you can record. You can record sightings or evidence of foxes. You can record the damage or the impacts that they've had in your local area. And you can also record control activities. I just wanted to highlight that control can be quite a sensitive piece of information. And so that information is always kept private. So we don't ever release that information to the general public. You must have a login to be able to access your own information, or we must give you specific permission if you want to view control records from other people. So we keep handle privacy very securely. Was someone going to make a comment?
Yeah, me again. You say evidence. Would you want us to record scats and tracks?
Yeah, you can certainly do that if you like. Yep, absolutely. And you can put photographs in there too. So I can show you some examples of other evidence as well. For example, if you've got wildlife cameras set up, you can record a sighting via a wildlife camera and also upload the image with it. And other evidence, you might hear them, hear their calls while you're out walking or at home at night. But that's some other examples.
I have a question.
Yes.
I understand the sightings and evidence. I understand the damage and impact, but could you clarify a little bit more about what you mean by control, please?
Yeah, so anywhere that you're managing foxes, so for example, if you're laying 1080 baits, if you've set up some traps, foothold traps, if you're undertaking ground shooting, they're all examples of control methods. So for example, people who are using this on large agricultural holdings.
Okay, so that's on your own property, right?
Yeah, on your own property, yeah.
Thought so.
Yeah. All right, I might move along to the next part. So as I mentioned, you've got the mobile devices and then you've got your laptop computer. They're the two ways that you can use FeralCcan. This is the FeralCcan home screen. So this is what you'd access from your laptop computer. We've got lots of information about foxes and about fox management and FeralCcan on the website. So we've tried to make it as useful and helpful for community members as possible. And I'll show you through the features once we do the website demonstration. But basically, yes, you can download the app via the homepage and you can also record fox information, so sightings, damage or control. Here's an example of recording a fox sighting. So I've just chosen Cronulla Beach, which I was at the other day, actually. It's beautiful. If I was down there and I saw a fox, I could go home, open up the FeralCcan map, click sightings in the form, zoom into Cronulla Beach, drop a marker pin, upload a photo and hit enter. So it's pretty easy to record that sighting and that would then go onto the map. Just moving into, into the app now. So there's 4 images on the screen in front of you and it's these images show you how simple and easy it is to use the FeralCcan app. So you select foxes, select the record type, so in this case, record sightings, fill in the form and hit submit. The app will automatically record the date, the time and your location. So it uses the internal GPS. So just remember the location, because if you go home and record it sitting on your couch later, it will put the dot on the map at your couch location and not on that lovely bush trail that you were walking that afternoon. Again, if it's a control record, it's always private. If it's a sightings or damage record, you have the choice. You can have it as public or private, and that will be the final question in the form. So once you've popped that marker, once you've submitted that record, it'll display as a marker on the map. Again, depending if it's public or private, whether or not you will be able to see it without being logged in. And once you click on that marker, you can see basic information about the record. But importantly, that information sent through to relevant people in the local area, and that will depend on what's set up in the system for you or for local groups. So some local groups in some areas have a closed group, which means they can share information with each other and send alerts without that being visible to anyone else. But importantly, this information is visible to local land services, and it can be made visible to national parks and wildlife as well, if that's something that will help them in planning their future control efforts in and around the area, as well as you being able to review that information. It's just some examples of photos that you can pop in as well. And just touching briefly on wildlife cameras as well, you can upload images from wildlife cameras. So if you've got some cameras set up around your property, or maybe you've got a little project happening in a reserve near your place, you can include those images with your records. So Pete and I spend a lot of time helping people on the phone, via email, sometimes in person. We can create accounts for you and send you instructions on how to use the resource. We provide ongoing support. So I'll receive phone calls from people who have forgotten their login password, or how do I attach this image, or why is it doing this thing? It's perfectly fine. Just give us a call and we'll help where we can. We send out a lot of resources as well. So things like glove box guide for managing foxes. We've got some printed resources if that's something that you're interested in, and instruction sheets for how to use the FeralCcan resource, which includes our contact details on the bottom as well. We also connect people to professionals. So sometimes we connect people to professional pest animal controllers. Other times we connect them to their local working group, or to local land services, or whoever the relevant body is in that local area. I just want to jump over to do a really quick website demonstration for you all, and then I will take questions. Yes, that is a fox on a car bonnet. I'll just jump out of here. Alrighty. So as I mentioned before, this is the FeralCcan homepage. I strongly encourage you to spend 5 minutes after this meeting or during to jump onto the FeralCcan website, have a click through at the different resources so that you're familiar with it for down the track. On the homepage, we've got plenty of resources. So the benefits of using FeralCcan, we've got this instruction story box here with a printable PDF. There's those dot points on things that you can do at home to reduce foxes. We've also got the glove box guide for managing foxes here, and that'll step you through a bit of fox biology, some common monitoring and control tools, and whether or not they're appropriate for you and your local area. Whoops. And we've got some quick links on the right-hand side as well. Oh, I have clicked on that other bit. Up the top, if you click on resources, that will take you through to the handy resources page. So this is a compilation of lots of different fox management, fox monitoring resources on this page, including other things such as working dog safety if people are using, for example, 1080 baits, etc. So do have a look through here as well, because there's a lot of helpful and handy resources. Website demonstration. So top right-hand side, click on the map of Australia. And this will open up the FeralCcan map. So at the moment, I'm not logged in, so we won't be able to see all of the confidential information that I've been speaking about, which is a good thing because we hold privacy of high standards. So I'm just going to zoom into your little local area. The top left-hand side is the record data button. So if I click on that, I can select sightings. You can change the date if you like, otherwise it will pre-fill for today. You can zoom right in on the map and select the location. You can click and drag if you'd like to move that location. fill in the form. I've seen a fox. It was alive and it was an adult. If you have some notes, you can fill them in here. Enter your email address. If you have a photo, click to upload the photo and then click submit. I won't hit submit tonight, but that will just upload that record if I did. So I'll just get out of that. Move this little side panel. You can choose to have a look at information if you have logged in. So if you already have a FeralCcan account and you want to go back and review your own information, you can use this select data button up the top right-hand side. And that will allow you to change the date and to have a look at different types of records. So sightings, damage. If you were logged in, it would say control as well. So the two things to remember from this page, well, three things really. Your login button up the top right-hand side. Top right-hand side of the white panel. The record data button, top left-hand side, and the select data button, top right-hand side of the map. I think that's about it from me in terms of presentation, but I'm more than happy to go through anything again and to, here we go, and to answer your questions if you have any questions.